tight-lipped about this. There was a court hearing today.
Correct.
And
he did not appear in court, right?
He did not, but his attorney did remotely and said, look, we got a statement from the attorney saying, all this is nonsense. This never happened. This is just because this woman is trying to get paid, and she made these allegations all up.
Did he enter plea today?
No.
We've seen plenty of celebrities sabotage themselves online, but what Cardi B just did might go down as one of the most reckless moves of her entire career. She didn't just post another rant or clap back at a fan. She went public with screenshots from a conversation involving an alleged assault victim, one who just happens to be the key witness in a felony strangulation case against her boyfriend, NFL star Stefon Diggs. Prosecutors don't usually need much help building their narrative, but Cardi might have just handed them a digital confession gift wrapped in her own social media feed.
But it turns out there was a possible felony case against Stefon Diggs that came to fruition.
Right, it came to fruition on Christmas Eve, actually, is when police went to talk to him about the accusation that he had slapped and choked his private chef earlier in December.
So
it started with a post that appeared on X at 9:39 a.m. last Monday. Cardi wrote, "Not once has that woman said anything to me about being touched. Not once. Mind you, we was talking every single day until she left that house." Attached was a screenshot of what she claimed was a message from Diggs' former private chef, the very woman accusing him of choking and slapping her over money in early December. Within hours, the post vanished, deleted without explanation, but by then, it was too late. The screenshots were everywhere, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Diggs' arraignment is set for January 23rd, just weeks before Cardi launches her Little Miss Drama tour. What should have been the clean start of a new era now looks like the prelude to a courtroom storm. The problem isn't that she defended her partner, it's that she may have crossed into something prosecutors call witness interference.
And said that it was to the point where she felt like she could have blacked out.
So she goes to the police December 16th.
Yes, and they say that she was hesitant in the incident report because she knew that he was a high-profile athlete and a member of the Patriots. She was going back and forth on whether she wanted to move forward with charges, but she laid all this out and explained it to them. On December 20th, she said, look, I want to move forward with...
According to multiple law enforcement sources, the chef, whose name appears in the police report, had already made it clear she couldn't communicate directly with anyone tied to Diggs. In the message Cardi shared, the woman wrote, "I'm so sorry. I can't talk to you. Please contact my mediator and she will answer anything you need to know, but only in person and confidentially." If that exchange is real, it shows that Cardi was explicitly told not to reach out, and she did it anyway. Then she published the entire conversation for her 34 million followers to dissect. We've learned that those deleted posts are now being reviewed by attorneys familiar with the case. One insider described them as a nightmare exhibit that could be introduced to demonstrate an attempt to influence or publicly pressure a witness. That's a felony in some states. And it's not just about intent, just the act of contact can qualify. Cardi might have thought she was defending her man. What she actually did was confirm to everyone watching that she had direct access to the alleged victim while an open case was underway.
Sorry, I didn't, it's been a couple of days. I usually get to talk to y'all on Wednesday. But, obviously, it's a different time, a very emotional time. Taken back by some, things that's been going on. But I want to be here to say, sorry I wasn't available for those couple of days. It's a different kind of time.
Behind the outrage sits a darker question. Why would Cardi risk everything for this? She's not some new performer desperate for relevance. She's a 4-time Grammy winner, a business mogul, a mother of 4. Yet instead of preparing for a major tour and managing her brand, she's waging digital war on behalf of someone accused of strangulation. Industry insiders say her team begged her to stay offline, but true to form, she couldn't hold back. She told fans in a separate Spaces session that she has to express herself, that when she vents, she feels way much better. That raw honesty built her empire. It could also be what brings it down. To understand how deep this runs, we need to rewind to the alleged incident that started everything. According to the police report filed December 16th, the chef claims Diggs attacked her on December 2nd after a dispute over unpaid salary. She says he struck her and pressed his elbow against her neck hard enough to make breathing difficult. Diggs was charged on December 30th with felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault.
Important is that for a player?
Well, it's not unexpected in this case because I think, they support their players in these situations. And this one, again, I don't want to give my opinion on it, but it sounds like a lot of he said, she said types of things. So with that, perhaps maybe the Patriots know more, at least from the side of Diggs, and are good with that, saying that we support him. And I think, again, they'll wait, but for now, he's on this football team, and they'll just take it that way.
His attorney insists the accusations are unsubstantiated and uncorroborated, calling it a financial dispute, not a violent one. But the case hasn't gone away. It's headed straight for a Massachusetts courtroom later this month. That's why the chef's silence matters so much. If prosecutors believe anyone tried to sway her, especially someone as powerful as Cardi, that could explode into a secondary investigation. Cardi's own words, "I'm gonna let the courts handle this," sound almost ironic now because she didn't let them. She took the evidence public, then deleted it when the backlash hit. But once a screenshot escapes, it never disappears. Sources close to the situation say Cardi wasn't just reacting to headlines. She was furious over whispers that Diggs had more than a working relationship with the chef. The messages between Diggs and the woman, leaked through court filings, read less like employer and employee, more like two people ending something personal. "You got a circus going on. I'm out of your life," she wrote before leaving his home. That single line has fueled rumors of a private affair that Cardi now appears desperate to deny.
I want to have more kids.
You do?
Yeah.
More kids? That sounds like many.
I mean, you know, how whatever my body could take and I feel like I can take.
Whether that jealousy played into her decision to contact the chef remains an open question, but people inside her circle believe it did. Meanwhile, Diggs has stayed silent except for one brief media comment. After a Patriots game on January 4th, he told reporters it was a very emotional time, but that he couldn't discuss the case. The team released its own statement of support, saying they'd continue to cooperate with authorities. That left Cardi as the loudest voice defending him, a role she embraced without hesitation. She swore, "On my 2-month-old son, that the chef was lying, a declaration that might resonate emotionally, but looks reckless legally." The irony is that Cardi had just come off a winning streak. Her new album was climbing charts. She had finally settled old lawsuits, including the costly defamation case with gossip blogger CH0KED. She welcomed her baby boy in November and spoke publicly about feeling strong and powerful again. Then came the Diggs allegations, and suddenly, that strength turned defensive. She went from celebrating motherhood to threatening critics online, telling one follower to, "Talk to me when you're this famous." Every outburst added fuel to a narrative that she's spiraling under pressure.
19. I don't like talking about my feelings because people like when you show weakness, people be like, "Oh, sympathy." And I feel like at first I thought they was doing it to me, but now I see they do that to every female rapper.
So you feel you can't like honestly be vulnerable because?
Yes, I'm afraid to be vulnerable because people want to say, "Oh, you be looking for sympathy," but this is...
Insiders describe this as a pattern, Cardi's instinct to fight, not flee, when she feels cornered. When her father was falsely accused of serious misconduct earlier this month, she unloaded on social media for hours, calling the accusers predators and vowing to take it there. Now that same fury is aimed at anyone doubting Diggs' innocence. Her online persona thrives on authenticity, but prosecutors don't see authenticity. They see evidence. Legal experts watching the case point out that Cardi's deletion of the post could itself raise suspicion. Deleting doesn't erase intent, and investigators often interpret sudden scrubbing as consciousness of guilt. Even if no formal witness intimidation charge materializes, the damage is done in the court of public opinion. The chef's legal team could argue that Cardi's massive following created a hostile environment for their client, potentially impacting testimony. And that brings us to the most unsettling part, the silence from Cardi's management.
I know for people online, it's her emotion, it's, Cardi B being Cardi B. But from a legal standpoint, what are you thinking as you hear her description of what happened?
So I think it's somewhat of a dual-edged sword, but I think the other witnesses that testified help her out. A receptionist testified saying that she was there and didn't see any injuries on the alleged victim here. There is also a psychiatrist that said that they evaluated the alleged victim and not...
Neither her attorney nor her label has issued a statement. For someone whose every move is usually coordinated for maximum visibility, the quiet feels strategic. It suggests they know how serious this could get. Because if a DA decides those DMs qualify as contact with a protected witness, Cardi B could find herself under investigation alongside the man she was trying to protect. Behind the scenes, publicists are scrambling. The tour, set to kick off February 11th in Palm Desert, has millions in production already invested. Promoters worry about insurance clauses tied to criminal proceedings or reputational damage. Every hour she stays in the headlines for the wrong reasons threatens those deals. Yet she's doubled down, claiming online that the negativity is just the devil before new levels. Fans hear spirituality, lawyers hear defiance. Meanwhile, gossip circles can't stop dissecting the chemistry between Diggs and that chef. The messages leaked through Boston 25 News showed bitterness and something deeper than a business disagreement. When the woman wrote, "You will pay me out for the season and the money you said you'd give me for my business," and he replied, "F, I look like paying you and paying another chef." It hinted at personal resentment, not just payroll drama. That tension now bleeds into Cardi's own rants, her references to people dragging me for lies, and promising that everyone will apologize just as loud. We can't ignore how dangerous that posture is for someone under this kind of scrutiny. What she sees as loyalty looks, in legal terms, like obstruction. What she calls faith in her partner reads as intimidation to the other side. And just as Diggs prepares to stand before a judge, Cardi's credibility may become part of the evidence itself, because prosecutors love nothing more than a public admission wrapped in pride and posted from a verified account. The next question is whether authorities will actually move on it. Some insiders in Massachusetts law enforcement tell us they're monitoring social media activity connected to the case, though no warrant has been filed. Still, the chef's attorney has reportedly compiled every deleted post, every screenshot, every Spaces clip where Cardi mentions her. They know the power of a celebrity's words, and they intend to use them. And here's where things get even murkier. In the same police report, the chef claimed she received a voice message and text from a female believed to be Diggs' girlfriend, telling her she didn't need to do all this and that it's not that big of a deal.
What does it mean to be a mother?
It means everything. It's like a feeling that it's undescribable. It's like love, joy. It's everything. Yeah.
Authorities haven't confirmed the sender's identity, but the language sounds uncomfortably close to Cardi's own online tone. If investigators tie that message to her phone or account, the story shifts from messy gossip to potential criminal exposure. For now, Cardi seems convinced she's in control. She's back online, mocking critics, promising her tour will go on as planned, and swearing that everything will get handled. But from what we've seen, she may have already handled it too much. Because once you contact a witness, once you publish evidence, you can't take it back. And while she thinks she's silenced the rumors, we can see the opposite happening. The story's just starting to crack open wider than anyone expected, and the one question no one can answer yet is whether there was more between Diggs and that chef than either of them have ever admitted. That line from the chef, "I'm out of your life," keeps echoing in everything we've uncovered. We can't pretend it sounds like a simple business exchange. It feels personal, final, the kind of message sent when something deeper has snapped. So we have to ask, was this ever about unpaid invoices? Or was there a private connection between Stefon Diggs and the woman now accusing him of choking her? Because if that's the case, Cardi B might not just be defending her partner's reputation. She might be defending her position in a story that's far messier than anyone realized. The more we examine those messages, the more they read like fragments from a breakup. The tone shifts mid-thread, anger giving way to disappointment, then resignation. "You got a circus going on," the chef wrote. "I'm out of your life." That doesn't sound like a staff member packing up a job. It sounds like someone closing a chapter of intimacy. Insiders close to Diggs' camp say the chef lived inside his Massachusetts home for several weeks leading up to December, managing meals, schedules, and even private family dinners. She was trusted, maybe too trusted. And when everything collapsed over money, people close to both sides say jealousy became part of the argument. Rumors are circulating that the chef confided to friends she felt emotionally manipulated by Diggs, that they had a connection he tried to erase once Cardi entered the picture. There's even quiet talk from 2 industry assistants who claim they heard about a possible pregnancy scare before the fallout. None of that has been confirmed, but if true, it would explain the strange urgency behind Cardi's posts. Because if she suspected Diggs had crossed a line, those screenshots weren't just a defense. They were a warning to the other woman. Stay silent, stay invisible, or face the fire of millions of fans. What complicates everything is the timeline. When the chef filed her report on December 16th, Cardi had already been seen publicly with Diggs after welcoming their new baby in November. She was preparing for her upcoming tour, promoting new music and showcasing what looked like a stable relationship. So, when the accusations dropped, it wasn't just a legal headache. It was an emotional blow to a brand built on loyalty. Cardi has always presented herself as fiercely protective of her family and relationships. Her response to betrayal has never been calm, it's been volcanic, and that's exactly what we saw unfold online. After the DM scandal, Cardi jumped into Spaces and unleashed a string of rants that painted a picture of a woman barely holding it together. "I gotta express myself," she said. "When I express myself, I feel way much better." Then came the line that sent shockwaves through her fan base. "I'll rob men again, I don't care." It was an eerie callback to her own 2019 confession about robbing clients during her early days, now resurfacing as a badge of defiance. It wasn't the polished tone of a global star. It was raw, volatile, and strangely self-destructive. We can see why the internet couldn't look away. Cardi wasn't acting like a performer defending her man. She was acting like someone under siege. Every post, every response sounded less like strategy and more like survival. She tore into fans telling her to log off, shouting that none of them could handle her level of fame. She mocked critics for dragging her for days. And between those outbursts, she talked about stress, exhaustion, and pressure. The tour, the baby, the constant scrutiny. It all collided in one storm.
We need to work on our We need to work on our communication. There's things that he got to work on. There's things that I got to work on.
Those close to her team reportedly begged her to stop engaging. One former PR consultant who's worked with major pop acts told us privately that Cardi's meltdown looked like a person trying to control chaos with noise. It's an apt description. Each rant seemed to push her further from the calm professionalism she once managed to maintain in public. Her anger wasn't just about fans or gossip. It felt directed at everything: fame, men, the press, even the system that could soon drag her into court. Meanwhile, legal experts watching the Diggs case noticed something strange. While his defense attorneys released measured statements denying all allegations, Cardi's posts contradicted that careful line. Her emotional declarations about proof and lies could complicate his legal defense if prosecutors argue that her contact with the alleged victim showed inside knowledge. If she truly believed she was protecting him, she might have done the opposite. Given the prosecution a motive to claim coordinated intimidation. And then there's the silence from the chef. Since her statement to police, she hasn't spoken publicly, but we've learned she's now represented by a firm that specializes in civil suits against high-profile figures. That move suggests she may be preparing for more than testimony. It could mean a defamation claim if Cardi's social media posts are proven false or damaging.
From what I'm seeing on the stand, it's not really going together very well for her purpose in searching after some of these charges.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need a lawyer who's very confident. And I think she has that, but I think everything else, I mean, you can have confidence, but you need something to support that confidence in. And it's just not playing out very well. He's having a lot of trouble in the examinations. And
for Cardi, who just closed out a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with blogger CH0KED over similar behavior, that's a nightmare scenario repeating itself. All of this plays out while Cardi's divorce from Offset remains technically unresolved. Court filings from late 2025 show she reactivated her petition, but hasn't finalized terms. That means if new charges or lawsuits hit, any shared financial assets could get tangled up again. The woman who once prided herself on independence might suddenly face another round of public exposure and financial risk. For someone who has spent years fighting to control her own narrative, this situation feels like it's slipping beyond her grasp. Her fans, usually quick to rally, are showing cracks too. Comment sections that once overflowed with heart emojis now fill with concern and disbelief. People question her choices, asking why she keeps defending men accused of violence or betrayal. Others wonder if she's spiraling because of exhaustion and new motherhood. Her last major appearance before the scandal, at the WWE SummerSlam in August, showed a confident, glowing performer. Now, just months later, we're seeing her online persona unravel in real time. Industry insiders describe a divide forming inside her camp.
The internet always causes unnecessary problems, unnecessary disagreements, unnecessary things, because a lot of the stuff on the internet and on the line isn't true. So I would just say they need to have that conversation, a real conversation. I'm not leaving this room until it's done, and those are the toughest conversations. When your wife wants to have a conversation, those are the toughest things, because you got to put everything on the table. That's the only way something's going to work. Everything has to go on the table for you to possibly be able to move on, and I'm hoping that they can have that conversation.
One faction believes she needs to disappear for a few months. Let the lawyers handle everything and focus on family. The other side fears going silent will make her look guilty. For a woman who built her empire by talking directly to her fans, disappearing may feel impossible. Yet every time she opens her mouth, the story deepens, and not in her favor. Stefon Diggs, on the other hand, continues to keep his head down. His last interview ended with him saying he couldn't talk about it. But those close to the Patriots organization admit off record that the team is nervous. A conviction or even a televised trial could derail an entire playoff run and drag the NFL into another controversy. The league has stayed quiet, but that silence doesn't mean inaction. Privately, they've launched their own review process, and we've seen before how fast sponsorships can vanish when criminal charges mix with celebrity drama. Back in Cardi's world, she's doubling down on positivity, posting about the tour and her faith. She insists the devil always comes when you're about to hit new levels. It's an inspiring message, but one that sounds more defensive than motivational. We can feel the fear between the lines. Fear of losing public trust, fear of losing control, fear of being next in the long line of artists undone by their own social media habits.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't solve the issue. It's a fun night, then guess what? The next day we arguing. The next day I'm blocking. Then next thing you know, we ain't talking for 4 days.
What we're watching isn't just a celebrity scandal. It's the slow-motion collapse of an image carefully crafted over years. The tough Bronx survivor, the unapologetic truth teller, the protective partner, all those layers now blur into something uncertain. And beneath it, there's the undeniable human element, a new mother trying to juggle love, fame, and crisis, all while cameras roll and critics circle. If prosecutors decide to move forward with a separate inquiry into Cardi's communication with the chef, the fallout could be severe. Witness tampering cases are rare, but not impossible, and the online evidence is public. Even if no charges stick, she could face civil claims that drain both energy and fortune. Add the ongoing divorce, a newborn, a national tour, and the relentless glare of social media. And we can see why this moment might be breaking her down piece by piece. Now, all eyes turn to January 23rd, the date of Stefon Diggs' arraignment. Cardi's fans are already speculating whether she'll attend, whether she'll post, or whether she'll finally stay quiet. If she shows up, the optics will be explosive. If she doesn't, people will say she's distancing herself. Either way, her silence, or her voice, will define the next chapter. We've watched countless celebrity implosions, but few with stakes this high. One man faces a felony charge. One woman may have turned herself into a key witness. And hovering above it all is the unspoken question of what really happened in that house back in December. Was it a fight over money, a burst of temper, or something far more intimate? Did Cardi know everything before she hit post, or was she blindsided like the rest of us? Because if the whispers about betrayal, jealousy, and late-night messages prove true, this isn't just a scandal. It's the blueprint for a meltdown. And while everyone else is trying to move on, Cardi keeps feeding the fire. The more she talks, the more pieces fall into place, and none of them look good. So what happens next? Does Cardi face a new investigation? Does the chef step forward again? Or does Stefon Diggs finally break his silence and turn the spotlight away from her? We're standing on the edge of something volatile, and every sign points to more revelations ahead. Let us know what you think. Was Cardi protecting her love or covering up the truth? Because one way or another, this story isn't over yet. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and keep your eyes open. This storm's only just beginning.